I'm Jamie.
I'm Leah.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Nikki, and today we're interviewing Mrs. Watkins for LandTalk, which collects video interviews with people about changes in a place they've known for at least 20 years.
So our first question is, what do you remember from when you first moved here?
Well, I was born and raised here, and I remember that it's always been a green area with lots of trees, but it has changed. Yeah.
So what is your favorite part?
Wait, we should do a follow-up. How has it changed?
Okay, so the suburban areas of the Bloomington community were much greener 20 years ago, less building. I'd say in the last 10 years there's been an explosion of construction, apartment complexes, student housing for IU, and there was, I guess I understand it, there was some policy change about building code, or somebody found a way around, as long as you have a business on the first floor, then you can have apartments above that, and so the buildings got much taller around the city area.
What is your favorite part about living here?
The people, the diversity, and the acceptance and tolerance of differences.
What kind of hobbies have you picked up here?
Well, I can play the piano a little. I used to play the alto saxophone, but I don't really consider that a hobby because I don't do it now. But I like to garden in the summer. So flower gardening, vegetable gardening, and there's not a lot of time for hobbies with school teaching. So reading, I like to read like on the back deck in the summer when it's not too hot.
What are some of the animals you've seen here?
I love to watch squirrels. It's my favorite thing to watch out the window, and even in the wintertime. But deer, I had several possums that used to come up when I had my outdoor cat and put her cat food out, and the possum would come up and eat the cat food. Raccoons as well would often eat the cat food. But those are my favorites. Yeah, I'd say the deer and the squirrel are my favorites.
What kind of trees and plants were ours here?
So we have a lot of maple, and this time of year I love it when the seeds, of the maple, we called them helicopters. I don't know if when you guys were little, if you threw them up and watch them, spiral down. So a lot of maple trees, oak trees, of course. I have memories of stepping on acorns at neighbors' houses and almost twisting an ankle because there's a pile of acorns. So yeah, those hickory, we had a lot of shagbark hickory trees, and the squirrels love the shagbark hickory, so I used to watch them jump from branch to branch in the wintertime when I was home with my son when he was first born.
How has the weather and rainfall changed?
I have noticed that it's not every year, but it seems like there's a trend in the drastic changes in temperature and also rain. It seems like when we get rain, we get a lot more at once or at one time. We haven't really experienced, but I remember a couple of summers of drought, but I don't remember much as far as being short rainfall. But it seems like instead of being more gradually spread out over time, we get a lot more rainfall in shorter periods of time. And the extreme weather, it seems like, although this spring is nice, but many times it seems like we go straight from winter to summer, and we don't have that transition.
Have there been any big storms in the last 20 years?
Yes, we actually had 2 storms that had damaged our property with straight line winds. There was a tornado that resulted from that storm, but the tornado wasn't in our area of the town. They called it straight line wind damage. And we had an above ground pool at the time, and a tree fell right on the pool, and all the water just went rushing out of the pool. And then the second time, a tree fell onto the roof and poked a hole in the roof, and there was water running into the dining room.
And then our last question is, what do you miss most about living here 20 years ago?
Say that question again.
Sorry. What do you miss most about living here 20 years ago?
Okay. So like what it was like 20 years ago and how it's changed.
Like what you miss?
What I miss about that? I just like seeing a lot of grass and trees, and there have been, because of all the development, the housing and the apartment, student housing development, I would say there are definitely fewer trees and there's less green space because of that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.